Guillermo has fallen under the sway of Laszlo.
I need 3 gallons of your sweat for science. Who's ready for a parade?
We are doing a pride parade!
Thursday.
He has decided to try and impress him with his quote-unquote intelligence.
If you don't lick it, I cannot diagnose you.
End quote.
FX is what we do in the shadows. All new Thursday at 10 on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Don't sing if you want to live long. They have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world.
You're listening to League Podcast, Vampire Council, Season 5, Episode 3, The Pride Parade. I'm Matt Dursin.
Clay and Shawnee Burno.
Well, welcome back here. Yeah, we are on. So now we're back to weekly episodes. Like when we had 1 and 2 at the beginning, because that's
E03.
Yeah, that's how they were released. But this is great. S503. A cat is really crying out there, but just ignore that. She's perfectly fine. she's happy to see us home. Well, yeah. How are you, Clay?
I'm great. Having a good old time.
Good.
Stacy is away, but she was taking care of your cats because you were away.
I know. It's really nice of her to do that. So this is what we do. We help each other around here.
What we do
But,
in the shadows.
in the shadows. You're right.
Second time I get you with that today.
Yeah, it always works. So so we talked last episode, like what's the Pride Parade going to entail, and we didn't know what. We just knew the title of the episode was called
And
Pride.
I personally, I don't want to speak for you, but it sounded gay, and I was in.
Right.
Sounds gay. I'm in.
We cover that. Yeah, I'm in. But so the interesting thing was I didn't know this, and I don't think you knew either. But the idea is so Sean, good old Sean, is back with a vengeance.
I love when Sean gets a lot of screen time.
Yeah, he's great. Anthony Adamaniuk. Do you know how to pronounce that name?
Atamanzak, I think, is
Zach?
Atamanzak.
What do you mean, Zach? There's no Atamanuik is Zach?
All right, well, cut that out.
Sorry. Anyways, Sean, he's running for Comptroller of Staten Island. And I love Nadja is like,
That's always the fake government job that I always make up when I want to say, oh, I'm running for comptroller. That's like the easiest one to say and confuse people with.
Yeah, because nobody knows what it is. Do you know what it is?
What Shawnee says, they decide where the money goes. So if you have like a town, what do we have? Like selectmen in our hometown or a mayor?
Yeah.
They like kind of, the comptroller decides where all the money like is budgeted to, controls all that stuff.
Well, Sean's major thing is he wants to bring the Islanders back. So that's the hockey team. I feel like there's a lot of in Staten Island jokes. I don't even know if the Islanders played on Staten Island. I assume they did, but whatever. That's one of his campaign promises. But the funny thing is he wants to be able to get the gay vote. So and not just that, the LGBTQ LMNOP vote was the other thing that he wants. And like, I love, so Nandor, he's there with all of them, and he's talking about this is what he wants to do and whatever. He's got a poster. He's running for Sean Rinaldi. I don't know if we ever knew his last name. Did they ever say his last name?
I think they mentioned it before.
Maybe they did. They probably did. But Nandor is like, oh, you just, crush your opponents or whatever. He's like, you crush your opponents and march on there. But he's like, yeah, well, you just got to get the votes. Like he doesn't. But Laszlo immediately says like, no, we will help you, Sean. Like he loves the idea. He loves the idea of a so he wants to have a gay pride parade, basically. And Laszlo loves this idea. And he says he'll design, he doesn't know it's called a float. He's like, what is that festive thing that rolls down the street or whatever, you know?
But meanwhile, Nandor is offering like all these very violent solutions to what you need to vanquish your foes is to kill them in their sleep.
Right.
And then he's like saying that the float is basically just, you know, the bodies of all those people. And,
right. He says they float. Right. They do float.
Yeah, because Charmaine's like, we call those floats.
Yeah.
He's like, well, the corpses also float, so.
It's true. So yeah, but I love it. Like so Sean thinks that they have this sort of. He thinks that they're. I don't know what. I guess he thinks they're all gay, right? I don't know. I guess because the way they dress, or I don't want to get into it, but he's asking them, and they're like, oh, Laszlo is all into it, but they also just came over to find out like which T-shirt they preferred, and I don't even remember what they
shirts,
were.
I remember what the shirts were. It was a picture of Sean's face, a rainbow. It says, yes, Sean. And the other one is picture of Sean's face again, and it says, hey, I'm being gay over here.
Yeah, that's right. Being gay over here. It's if it was done in a different way, it would probably be offensive, but
no, I think that they gave a big fuck you to all the people that are anti-gay and anti-trans people, elemental PQ.
Elemental P.
Like they kind of like nudge a little bit to poking fun at everybody, but mostly they're just like, everybody on the show is gay, get over with. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And I mean, Guillermo is kind of like, you're having a pride parade. You know, I love Guillermo. He's
he's like, I've never been to pride parade before.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sean and Charlemagne have either.
Yeah. I don't think they have either. I love he's sitting in his foot locker when he says that.
Yeah, he's just like sitting
in his foot. So anyway, so that's like the opener, and then they have the and then they go back, and so Laszlo and Guillermo are still kind of working on why he's not a full vampire and what's going on there, and Nandor is trying to figure out what's going on, and he thinks that there's something like between them. He's trying to figure it out, and they're because he can't.
Yeah, he's like a little jealous of all the time that Guillermo's spending with Laszlo.
And if he found out that Guillermo got turned by another vampire, it would be horrible, as you recall from last week. But there's some weird stuff going on. Well, Guillermo has very tiny wings, like very, very tiny bat wings. And he's asking Laszlo to look at them. He's like, I think it's just a little bit of like, you know, skin irritation, a little bit of
Laszlo doesn't
alopecia.
tell him the truth, which is that there's...
Yeah, he's like, yep, that's exactly what it is.
Can you move them? And he goes, what? What do you mean?
Like,
and they do like kind of move.
Yeah, it's so creepy and weird. And then he like... I like some of the tests that they're doing. He says, run,
they have like a nice montage
really fast.
of tests.
Yeah. And like he's like running normal human speed, maybe a little slower. He can't. He does. He eats the garlic. That was really funny. Laszlo's wearing this ridiculous...
in that plague mask outfit.
Yeah,
like the plague doctor. He's like,
yeah,
lick the garlic.
Yeah, lick the garlic, and we'll see how it affects you. And he's like, I don't. And he just eats it. He's like, oh, it's not bad. He starts eating the clove of garlic.
Big jump out of it.
So it's.
Oh, and then he says, he's like, oh, so I'm a daywalker? I'm like Blade?
Yeah, I know. He's like, yeah, you're exactly like Blade.
Yeah, you're exactly like Blade.
I know. So I'm like Blade. So, yeah, but like, meanwhile, yeah, they're trying to figure out.
He does levitate something, though.
He does levitate the flask.
The flask.
Yeah. So that is That is funny. And then eventually, like, Nandor he wants to be included, or he kind of invites himself along. He's like, I know when I'm not wanted, but not now, or whatever, something like that. And he just, because they're doing all these tests.
Oh, yeah, they do. They go out to the backyard to do some tests.
Yeah, and one of them is like the triple jump, where you the third one, you can jump really high, and he's like, oh, like Mario? And they don't know
Mario?
who that is. Yeah. But then they get this idea, because Nandor says, oh, well, I mean, why jump when you can just fly? And they're kind of like, well, flying, Laszlo says flying has limitations.
Yeah, he says you can only go as high as the lowest cloud in the sky.
And he says, no, Nandor says, no, I've gone into space.
Plenty of times. Yeah.
And I love he's like, write that down. He's like, don't write that down on account that it's bullshit. So yeah, like Nandor says, and then he on camera talking to the camera, he says, I've never actually gone to space, but I don't have to worry about oxygen or any of that shit. So so he just assumes he can go into space. And then when he finally does, like Guillermo is like, oh, are you going into space to impress me? He's like, no. And then on camera, he's like, am I doing it to impress Guillermo? Yes. So, but we'll get there, because I do want to talk for a minute. There's Nadja's storyline is also
the Freaky Friday.
This one is weird. This just gets awesome. Really weird. So the doll is upset because her legs have been broken and her lower body apparently has been just broken, and she's a virgin. Not that I don't think it would matter. I mean, I don't think a doll would have a vagina, but it's okay.
Well, no, they explained because she is the ghost of Nadja when she died, and she died a virgin. Right.
So anyway, she sort of, to make up for the fact that Nadja crushed her legs, I guess, she's like, well, I'd like to have a little bit of something. So the guy says, oh, I can switch your bodies so that she can, real Nadja can be the doll for a little while, and the doll will be Nadja, even though it's still Nadja, but whatever.
And Nadja's like, oh, I wish I could do something to help. And she's like, Kristen Shell's like, can't read the room. It's like, yeah, it's completely easy. No, I can do it. No sweat.
Yeah, I know.
And Nadja's like, great. So great.
So yeah, they do that, and then she's so happy. Like, the doll is so excited to have like a body again, and she's like, "Okay, be careful, stretch first." She says. And then
because she's walking around like a doll that's trying to drive a big body. It's like a Pacific Rim. She's like, "Oh, look, I can." Whoa. That must have been really fun for her to play.
Yeah, it probably was, actually. It's like playing two parts, but it's the same part. But yeah, she's also like, you don't want to have sex with any of the people in this house. But like, she's technically married to Laszlo. I don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah, but they do say in this episode that everybody fucks everybody all the time in that house.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I guess we figured that out. But yeah, so she does speed dating for a night, which is really bizarre because she keeps going around telling everyone that she's a virgin.
But she's also like, well, first I was a human, and then I was in a doll, and now I'm in a human again. And wouldn't you like to take the virginity of a previously a doll or something?
Dead. Yeah, like someone who died and became a doll.
And then the guy's just like, yeah, I'm in sales.
Yeah, the guy. I love he's wearing like a New York Jets shirt. It's like, oh man, he's such a putz. But yeah, so that fails miserably. And then they go back.
She gets kicked out because she's
that's right,
hitting on the one girl, the other girl that was at the speed dating thing, and she's like, puts her leg up on the table, and she's like, look, I choose you to be my mate. Look how wide I am. That was the funniest line. Look how wide I am.
So yeah, they get kicked out of there. They go back to the house and they decide that Colin Robinson's going to be the man, the choice. And he's like, I mean, he was kind of into creepy doll Nadja, he says. But, you know, he's not really into human form Nadja. He's only into doll Nadja.
Yeah, right when they're about to get busy, he goes, I don't get me wrong. I like how fucked up this is.
Yeah.
I really like how fucked up this is. But I'm only attracted to Nadja in doll form.
And doesn't he play like Dave Matthews or something before
that
they like get me in the mood? It's like dun, 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 dun. I forget.
But
the
doll
name of
Nadja, it's like kind of dancing a little bit in the bed too. She's kind of like, oh yeah, baby, dance it.
Yeah, I don't know. She's like, is it weird that I'm here? And like, and Kristen Shaw is also like, not as weird that I'm here.
Yeah, she's like in the back corner, like
Yeah,
literally in the dark.
Yeah, but then he says he can't do it. He likes how fucked up it is, but he can't do it. He only likes the doll, which is so bizarre.
And then he asks the guy the question, okay, so does that mean if you can't basically
yeah, because she says I can't put you back if one of the parties does not want to go back. And she's like, well, you could have told me that before. But yeah,
and then
so
he says,
like,
can you put two spirits into one body?
Yeah. And she's kind of like, well, I guess so. Like, I love Kristen Shaw. She has no idea, but she's willing to try, you know. So this is her. I mean, I guess I like how fucked up this is. But yeah, so they put Colin Robinson and Nadja in Nadja's body. And first she starts kind of just talking like him. She says, oh, I want to read the paper. And then it's like his face is like on the back of her head.
Well, like a little later, but yeah, like
right.
as soon as his spirit flies into Nadja, so now Nadja's human body is occupied by doll Nadja and Colin Robinson. Is everybody following this up there? But
yeah,
also, yeah, he just keeps saying like, "Oh yeah, it looks like they're gonna turn the GNC into a Jersey Mike's."
Yeah, I know. He's just
like, I want to go write my male feminist blog, and she's like, I want to practice cartwheels.
Yeah, it is very weird, but whatever, you know, it's fun. But yeah, like, so anyway, we get to the day of the Pride Parade. Now, my knowledge drop here is I was doing a little reading. Apparently, when they were filming that scene, which they like. So what I heard was they like to film outside. They said there's a certain energy when they're not just sitting in the house, and they get hyper but apparently it was like 2 degrees out when they were filming that part of the episode. And Harvey Guillén said, like, we get excited, but he thought it was great. The Pride, everybody's wearing these like rainbow boas and everything. He says, we were shooting at night. You don't really see it. It's like, you don't really see a Pride Parade at night. And then,
well, they're vampires, right? So,
right.
I guess
so they have to go out at night. But here's the other bit that we have to get back to. During these testing of Guillermo, Laszlo discovers that his skin will not burn in the sun. He has this like light. So he somehow does he just kind of rub like he
says, I need 3 gallons of your sweat, boy.
Yeah, and he's like, cock out or whatever. He's like, get off.
Cock ahoy.
Cock ahoy. That's what he says. And he puts him on a treadmill and like that. We don't see anything else, but yeah, he goes out and he's wearing this ridiculous like sun hat. And he's wearing all white, which is
all
funny.
white like linen. And he goes to the beach. He asks Sean and Charmaine if they have a beach chaise.
If they have shawls, yeah.
He's like, what's that? Lawn chairs.
Yeah,
we have lawn chairs.
We have lawn chairs. So I love it. He goes to the beach and he's like, he draws a big dick in the sand. Like,
two people playing soccer, and he like kicks it. He's like, "Go fetch!" And he kicks
he
it
kicks it way out into the water. He grabs a fish just around it, and he's having the time of his life out there in the sun. So that was really funny. But yeah, he comes back and he's all sunburned. And Sean's like, "What the hell happened to you?" And he's like, "A little time in the sun, old chap." But he's the grand marshal of the parade, and he's standing up there in his pink coat and everything, and his face is all like pink, and he's got a pink hat, and he's talking about
he definitely he didn't like injure himself, but his skin burned.
Yeah,
he got a sunburn. That's literally what would happen to me if I was in the sun for too long. I am that white. Well,
yeah, it happened to him, but it's great. He doesn't seem to feel the pain of a sunburn, which I guess is good because he's a vampire. But yeah, so he's talking about this. He's talking about how gay everything is. They keep using the word gay. It's
because he's like the grand marshal, so he kind of comes out and makes a little speech. And
yeah,
and there's there's I don't know. There's Sean's friends there, like the guys.
Yeah, Sean's buddies are there.
And then he's like, "Did they put acid in my beer again?" And there's like a kid that starts crying.
Well, yeah. Meanwhile, like the same time as all this is going on, Nandor, he's got like sort of like a GoPro or whatever on.
He
talks to the camera crew
from the documentary crew.
Yeah, he's like, "Thank you for giving me these little cameras." And I guess he's got like I don't know. But yeah, he flies up really high, and he's like, first he sees a plane. He's like, "Hi, plane." And then he's going up, and he's like, "This is fucking horrible." And then he gets into
"Fuck
space.
you, Laszlo. Fuck."
Yeah, when he's out there, he's so happy. He's like, "I did it. Fuck you, Laszlo." And he gives him like the finger or whatever. "Fuck you, Guillermo." And then he falls back and he's burning and he's like, "Ah!"
Yeah, the re-entry's a bitch.
Yeah. And he crashes, right?
Burned off all his clothes.
Yeah, and he gets up and he's totally naked. I love they digitize out his wang. And he's like, "I was just in space." And like, it's just so weird. And like, yeah, they have to cover the kid's face, because
and like Guillermo comes around with like a big pride like towel or like a decoration and like wraps it around him.
I know. Yeah, so I guess this is the point, right? Where like Laszlo introduces Nadja. He's like, "My beloved wife," whatever, and she goes up on the stage, and then like she's acting all like Colin Robinson and her, and then she turns around and like parts her hair basically, and it's Colin Robinson's face. It's so weird. It's so funny.
It was so weird because like the physical body of Colin Robinson was like they did like an old school like Hollywood trick, and they would kind of cut away just a little bit and turn the person around, and Colin comes out in the dress and backwards.
It was so bizarre. Like,
but then they started singing "It's Raining Men."
Yeah, they got really into everybody. Yeah, they're playing like "It's Raining Men," and it's really what you would. I think they start singing themselves. It's hilarious
and then the Pride Parade, which is basically Sean's gay pride float that he made that has like still has a sign to like "Bring the Islanders back." Yeah,
there's still a sign on the float.
Yeah. And then there's Laszlo's, the car that him and Colin Robinson had before. Remember, kind of their like, I call it their Monster Mobile. It's like kind of their thing. And Nadja Doll, who's actually Nadja, was like on his lap, and as they're driving through, and then kind of like the funny, cute thing at the end is Guillermo's kind of like starts singing along and having a good like gay old time. He has a big sign that says "gay guy."
Yeah, like, and he's got one little sparkler, and he's wearing like this.
But he's into
hat.
it. He's like, "Oh, it's my first Pride Parade."
Yeah, but I think he sees how ridiculous the whole thing is. It's not really about any sort of pride. You know, it's just like them being ridiculous and goofy.
But yeah, he
So he's
does
kinda
like
like,
the
"Huh."
YMCA or whatever.
Yeah, when they're singing
Raining Men. Sorry.
It's Raining Men.
Different gay anthem.
Yeah. And then there's kind of the, I don't know if this is the post-credit or mid-credit sequence where they go back in the house. Nandor is now wearing, I forget, he's wearing a different kind of pride shirt. I forget what it says now. I'm sorry, I had this somewhere, but yeah, it's really funny. And they go in and like Doll, Nadja is having sex with Laszlo, and the actual Doll is over his shoulder. It sounds like she's like whipping him or whatever.
Right.
And then he goes, "How does that feel, Colin Robinson?" And Colin Robinson's face kind of pops up. And he's like, "Oh yeah, right there." It's just like,
I hope this hits the spot, Colin Robinson.
yeah, it is. And then like Guillermo's like, I can't watch that. And he turns and leaves. And Nando's like, "Are you sure?" I just thought was pretty. So, oh my god,
that was like pretty much
that was
like super
bizarre. Yeah,
so weird.
It's really that almost was like, wow, okay, like they went there, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of just okay.
I was just imagining how many people that was like making mad. You know what I mean? That made me happy that people would be mad at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I could see, a little uncomfortable or whatever, but I was like, well, okay, they did not hold back, right? You're going for it.
And this particular episode, I think, is just kind of like, it's almost like they just keep getting so much more ridiculous with shit that it's like I call it the South Park problem. It's like, is South Park ever going to run out of jokes? Not really.
Yeah,
I mean, look at this.
I
this
haven't
is
yet.
Like really wild that all this shit happened in this one particular episode. And I think it's like kind of making fun of Hollywood a little bit, like any of those Freaky Friday or 18 Again movies, those body swap things. But also, I just I saw the Mission Impossible this weekend.
Oh,
and
really?
In the next one, Tom Cruise says that he wants to go to space to shoot like his, he always does a big stunt.
Yeah.
He wants to his like in the next Mission Impossible or like sometime in his career, he wants to like shoot something like for real in space.
Oh, you don't mean the character. You mean legit. He wants to go.
Tom
like
Cruise,
he wants to film in space. Tom Cruise, not Ethan Hunt.
Right.
Oh God.
So he wants to do that. So like, I think this is kind of like making fun of him a little bit,
like a send off on like what how you would,
but also kind of I don't know, if you were to like write a funny vampire comic or something, it's like, oh, like let's do all the tests of see what vampires are, like just coming up with ridiculous things and like the counting the rice.
Yeah, we kind of did gloss over that. There was a thing Colin Robinson actually brought up when they were talking about Laszlo came and was like, what is your first thing that comes to your mind when you think of vampire? And first the guide says like, well, that you're in this insular clique and you don't let any other people in. Like, no, that's not it. It's just pretty bad. But Colin Robinson says there's some kind of theory where if you throw a bunch of rice in the ground, a vampire will have to count it. And they try that, and the person goes, nope, no urge to count it. And then they're like, okay, move on. But first, and him and Nandor both get down and start counting the rice.
Like one. They kind of go back and forth, and the other one goes two.
And then Guillermo is just like, maybe we should try something else.
But
it is funny.
Like, they said like, if you throw vampire's shoe into a river, then they have to follow it or something. And then Nando's like, no, this is Vampire 101 shit. It's a sock.
Right. It's not a shoe. It's a sock. I mean, it's so bizarre. But I guess like, you're right. In a way, like they're making fun of vampire stuff because like vampires can do anything. Can they go into space? It's almost like
they can do anything on this show. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's
And
almost
it's also
like
when Freddy versus Jason, or didn't Jason go to space or something? Like,
yeah, he went
I don't
into
know.
space in one of the later Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was like 10 or
and
something.
like, yeah, fucking William Shatner went into space. You know what I mean? Like it's
IRL. Yeah.
Yeah, IRL. That's what I like. So I think they're almost kind of making fun of that, how people want to go to space for whatever reason. Like, and it's and that's also this one-upmanship, right? Where like, oh, you think you could,
Yeah.
you think you're so cool, Laszlo. I can go into space.
And also think about the first Iron Man. He goes like way too high up, and then he like crashes down.
Yeah. Well, because he hadn't planned on any of that stuff, and it's just. But it's funny, yeah, because Nandor has no idea what he's doing. He just thinks,
Yeah,
like,
and he lied.
Oh,
He's like, I didn't really lie, but he did.
It's he's just kind of like, well, I don't need oxygen or any of that shit. I love that he says like, I don't have to worry about any of that oxygen shit. I think it's.
But also, he would have to be. I would say he'd have to be careful as a vampire, theoretically, just in the world of this, because if you go up too high, or if you catch maybe some sort of drift or something, and then you're just like confronted by sun.
Yeah, you could die. But it's it's everything with vampires has been done, right? The
and
standard
there's
vampire
all these
story.
different types of rules, and exactly like when Guillermo's like, so I'm like Blade, it's like,
right?
It's this,
right.
And this Blade is canonical to the show, right?
Right,
He's part of it.
Exactly. All vampires, basically, that have ever been on any movie or TV show are part of this universe, because they talked about Kiefer, they talked about Blade, they talk about it in season 1, at the end of season 1. Remember, they had that, yeah.
And I almost think of it like, since, we're like comic book people, obviously, like, I wonder if it's almost like, if you think of it that way, each one of them has their own, like, set of vampire rules or whatever, or like they have their own superpowers. So like Blade has his whatever Daywalker superpower, but Nandor doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like wherever they come from, that's kind of that they could assemble and make a super team of that had different powers. You know what I mean?
Well, I love it because it's comedy. They can just do whatever they want, right? I mean, like, you could be a little flippy floppy with the rules if you want. So, but yeah, I mean, like, there's never been a vampire rule that if you rub the sweat on, of like a
right, yeah, they made their
human
own
on you, then you can go out in the sun, or even why the whole Guillermo's not a vampire thing. It's great. Like they're doing whatever they need to do to make it funny, and I definitely appreciate that.
In last episode when Laszlo says, "You're fucked."
Yeah.
In this episode, he turns the camera to the camera crew, documentary crew, and he's like, well, the boy is, and I thought he was going to say fucked again in the same way. He goes, it's fucked up. Because he's like, doesn't understand why he hasn't turned, and he's not really a scientist. He's just like doing all these tests.
I love it. Because I'm a man of science. Like, he's not a man of science. He's as dumb as... He's as dumb as anything, yeah. But I love that he knows a little bit.
Matt Berry has a couple of just great, like, not even quotes, just like great line deliveries at the Chanel.
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah.
Number 1, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
But he's only because he loves the idea. Like, he's telling him to shut the fuck up. I love this idea, and he wants to be the Grand Marshal. But yeah, my favorite.
To use our house, 1 thumbs up. 2 fucking thumbs up.
Well, my favorite part, like I said, is when he's like, don't write that down on account of it's bullshit. It's great. I love that you can swear on TV now. Just regular TV. I guess cable or whatever, but I love it.
This is a funnier show because they swear in it, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that's what we do in the shadows. I haven't looked anything about next episode. Give me a quick second here and see what we got.
The campaign as Colin runs for office.
Oh,
Xander makes a new friend. Nadja reconnects with her roots.
wait a minute. Now, is he running against? I hope he's not running against Sean. He's
I don't know.
running for
I like
office.
to keep it dry. I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, I do too. I'm just wondering. Yeah, I hope he's not. I mean, come on. That would be hilarious. But I could see him in a debate.
It looks like just for the record, I've been noticing kind of the credits are a little different. Like Kyle Newacek was probably involved a little bit at the beginning of the season, but Jemaine, Clement, and Taika Waititi wrote this episode with someone else, and Yana
Gorskaya. I've seen that name on a few episodes before, actually.
And just all credit to them. I know everybody's on strike and whatnot right now, but I've been seeing like kind of new-ish names. Like I haven't seen like the same names on the writing staff.
Yeah, definitely on the writing staff. I know Yana. She has been involved in many episodes, going back to season 2. Technically 17 episodes. So, but yeah, there was definitely a new writer on this one, and I do not remember their name, but I think Taika Waititi and Jemaine Clement get credit on all just because they're the creators.
Yeah, but I don't think they.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how involved they are. They might be very involved. I hope they're, but I don't know. I think they're a credit on every episode anyway. But Jake Bender is a writer on this one, and that's the name I have not heard or seen before.
Very well.
So, very well. Indeed. Very well.
Do you think that Colin and Sean are going to run against each other?
I don't know. I mean, that would be hilarious, but maybe not. I don't know. But maybe Colin just gets the idea like, oh, there's such a thing as running for office, and he just wants to do it because maybe it's almost like him being the waiter. Like,
yeah,
the chances for feeding are just unlimited. So yeah, I'm on board. So
me too.
Yeah, we got to put this out there. Oh man, Jake Bender has actually written a lot of episodes of What We Do in the Shadows.
These people aren't household names, like
No, it's
we
great
are
though.
giving them
Actually, they are.
We're giving them a shout outs now.
Well, it's like they all have right. There's always a staff of writers in all these shows, so it's great. Yeah. Anyway, we got to do this again now. We're hoping that you listen to us on Spotify. Obviously listen to us wherever, but if you have a Spotify account and you want to go over there and listen to an episode or two, that would be great for us because we got to get a certain amount of numbers on Spotify. So, but really listen to it wherever. Just listen. But if you happen to
it is easy to get these episodes. You just go to leaguepodcast.com and the Spotify link is right there. So
that's
stream
right.
It from the websites, have it open the app or whatever.
Yeah, if you're on your phone, which a lot of people I'm sure listen to podcasts on their phone, you can just go to the app. But listen to us wherever you get your podcast. Leaguepodcast.com. That was always a good place to start. We also have a special Vampire Council Facebook group. If you're one of those Facebook people,
shout out to those guys.
Yeah, right.
And a tradition that I've always done with this show, it was kind of good that like we started fresh with this episode, with this podcast and Curbcast, like where they're a particular different sort of quote unquote branding from League Podcasts. So I always put these on YouTube and Facebook. And like I said, we want you to listen to us on Spotify, please. But someone actually listened to us on YouTube and left a comment timed to like the comment on the things we were saying. So keep the comments coming wherever you can leave a comment. Please do.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. And there's stuff, Spotify has fun stuff. Like sometimes we put up like a poll or something like that too, or like, a fun little gag in there. It helps if we get a little listener engagement, so we know what's going on, what we're doing right or wrong. So
please leave your comments. It's easy to do so wherever you get our podcasts, but hopefully Spotify.
Yeah, just for a little while, try Spotify. I know a lot of other places are going away, so I know Stitcher. I'm sad about Stitcher, and I know a couple other ones are probably going away too. So might as well go to Spotify. Colin Robinson.
Colin Robinson.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Clay. And
thanks to you.
Thanks to you. We'll see you soon for episode 4.
Let's do the countdown.
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Bat!
I feel like that was actually on time this time.
You do it like longer. You go like bat, and I'm just kind of bat, but it's great. I think it works.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, I don't even
There's
care.
always like 17 bats layered on each other. It's like the Dark Knight Rises when. Do you remember when they were like, send in a sound clip of you saying "Booga Chaka" or something? Did you do that?
No, I don't think I did. I don't remember that at all.
Batman is like crawling up the thing,
when
and everyone's like "Hooba ha ha"
in the pit. Yeah.
That was like a early interactive thing. They were like, we want fans to call in and record this and send it in. So maybe I'm in the mix somewhere.
Maybe we can. Do you think we could get people to send us recordings of themselves saying "bat"? Do you think people would do it?
Let's do it. Yeah, that's great.
Do you think
Let's steal it from Chris Nolan. Hey, listen, if you're listening to us on Spotify, send us an email, feedback@leaguepodcast.com with bat. And we'll
are we still recording this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So send us a recording of yourself, feedback@leaguepodcast. No, is that the name? Is that really the email address, or is it at Gmail?
Don't get them confused.
I'm sorry. Okay, feedback@leaguepodcast.com. A recording of yourself saying "bat," and we will be able to add it to the mix, just like Christopher Nolan. I love this. I love this idea.
Oh, it's a great idea. I love it. Great ideas steal themselves. Oh, by the way,
just popped in.
Since we're talking about bats, right? Don't forget to subscribe to both mine and Dursin's Substack. Clayinferno.substack.com, Dursin.substack.com. We're celebrating the 15th year anniversary of The Dark Knight by writing letters to each other, the Alfred letters.
That's right.
So check that out if you like Batman. Or if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't. If you just like us commenting on a really good movie. Yeah, I think it's been fun. So
it has been.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, send it in. Bat!
Send it in. Spotify. Lady fucks. Fuck you, Guillermo.
Oh, my God.
It's one of the hardest guitar pieces in the world to play.